I used to spend all my time in the gym chasing the pump and going with these high rep ranges because I used to think that increased blood flow and increasing the pump that I got just meant that my workout was more productive as a whole. A lot of bodybuilders today propose doing this and propose doing high rep ranges and saying that it leads to more muscle, whereas the reality is that a lot of the new research that's coming out is showing that it's actually nowhere near as beneficial as just doing low rep ranges, hard and intense. People who actually really enjoy going to the gym and they want to be there and they actually make a significant amount of progress, they don't actually go there and they don't do these massive high rep ranges like a lot of bodybuilders on steroids propose doing. But they actually just stick to these key, concise, low rep ranges and they just make them count by putting in a lot more effort and just upping the intensity. So in this video, I'm going to go over exactly why I switched to low rep ranges and what I found happened when I did this. So my first point is why these lower rep ranges are better and why these are actually going to give you more results. And I found personally that when you stop going for these high rep ranges and when you start going for lower rep ranges, it leads to a lot more longer lasting muscle growth. So the reason for this is because these high rep ranges, they just pump a lot of blood flow into your muscle. So it looks like the volume of the muscle has actually increased because you've got all this blood flow in the muscle. Whereas this doesn't actually correlate into any long-term growth. And after a week or 2 weeks, when the blood flow leaves the muscle completely and the swelling's gone, then your muscles actually just look really flat and you haven't actually created any dense, proper, long-lasting muscle growth. The opposite happens when you switch to a lot lower rep ranges. This is where you minimize the amount of blood flow that goes into the muscle, whereas you're actually building up the strength and the size of the muscle fibers themselves. So this is where it leads to really strong, solid, dense, and long-lasting muscle growth. Research has also shown that lower rep ranges with a high amount of weight, so the higher the weight is, this is going to lead to more mechanical tension and more motor unit recruitment. Because if you think about what mechanical tension is, which is the driver for muscle growth, it's the amount of force that's applied to your muscles when they're under resistance. So if you're just doing light weights and you're doing for high reps, then you're just not able to actually apply enough force onto your muscles, which is not going to force them to adapt and grow back. And the way that you really do this productively is just by doing low rep ranges. So I found that when I switched to these low rep ranges and I started implementing this, it's just so much easier to increase your strength, to have a reference point for you to progressively overload from. And I just found that overall the total mechanical tension and the stimulus I was getting from each workout went up drastically. One other key point is the minimization of the fatigue that you get from these low rep ranges. So the problem with going super high with rep ranges, and I found this myself, is that when I went super high, all of my subsequent sets in the workout would actually be compromised. And the reason for that was because going super high with these rep ranges and getting all this blood flow into your muscle, it actually becomes quite fatiguing. A lot of times you get out of breath, you get burning sensations in your muscles, and this just has a long-lasting impact on the productivity of your workout as a whole. So I found that when I did this, not only did all of the subsequent sets in my workout take a hit in terms of productivity, that would mean that they would offer less stimulus as a whole, and therefore my workout was just significantly less productive. And on top of that, it wasn't even creating any muscle growth in that set anyway when I was going to high rep ranges. So it's actually just really counterintuitive, counterproductive to be going on these super high rep ranges when all of your subsequent sets are therefore going to take a hit. And overall, the stimulus you're going to get from that workout as a whole will go down. It also can have a longer period of time for your muscles to recover after that workout, which means that when you hit the gym again, you might still be recovering, and therefore your strength is going to be severely compromised, and your ability to come back stronger and build muscle is going to go down the drain. So that's another key point, is it just completely shasses your recovery, and it causes way too much fatigue. So this is why I switched to low rep ranges. I found that when I did this, my ability to progressively overload just went up massively because I was getting the stimulus and I was getting a proper stimulus from increasing mechanical tension and increasing the load my muscles were under. And then also it just meant that I was able to recover so much better because I wasn't doing these high excessive rep ranges which were pumping calcium ions into my muscles and just causing a significant amount of muscle damage, which would upset my recovery and therefore lead to it taking longer for me to make progress. So I found that when I switched to these lower rep ranges, my muscle definition went up, my strength went up massively, and I was just progressively overloading so much more consistently. I was making progress so much better than when I was just spending hours in the gym going for high rep ranges and thinking that getting a pump would correlate into muscle growth. One final key point is effective reps. So when you're working out during a set, there's only actually 5 reps which are going to give you a muscle building stimulus. And these are often right at the end of your set. So they're the last 5 reps that you have before you hit failure. And if you're doing high rep ranges of 15 to 20 reps, it's going to mean that for you to get into this high rep range and go close to failure and actually be able to do 20 sets, 20 reps, then you're going to have to lower the weight significantly so that you can get into this rep range. So that means that when you hit these essential key reps at the end of the session, the weight's going to be a lot lower, so the amount of stress that you place on the muscle is going to go down. So therefore, the stimulus you create is going to be significantly less. Whereas if you just did a heavy weight at 6 to 8 reps, then you'll find that after only 1 to 3 reps, you're already in this effective rep range. And therefore, when you're in this rep range, when you're building muscle, you're going to have a higher weight, which is going to mean the stress on your muscles is higher, mechanical tension is going to increase, and you're therefore going to train a lot more efficiently because the amount of stimulus that you get on this higher weight is going to go up massively. So that's another key point why I think high rep ranges just don't work and lower rep ranges are so much better. So I hope this helps you, and this is something which I've implemented into my training and it's just been super beneficial. So I highly recommend just sticking to a rep range of 6 to 10 reps. It's super productive and it's going to lead to you training more efficiently and building muscle a lot better.